Welcome to the Voice for Dads podcast.
Hi guys, Scott here and welcome to today's episode of Voice for Dads. I'm joined by another very special guest. This is the man behind Falsely Accused Network and his name is Mike. Hi Mike.
Good evening, how are you, Scott?
I'm good, thank you very much for being here.
Thank you, thank you for inviting me.
You've just travelled 4 hours to get here.
I have indeed, all the way up from Cheshire, all the way up to Ayr. It's a journey I won't forget.
Thank you so much for coming though.
No,
we could have done this remote, but we both know it's far better in person.
Absolutely. This is a serious topic that we talk about, and I like to show it reverence. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I'll return the favour.
Thank you.
I will travel to you.
Thank you.
So, tell me.
Mate, just before we get off, just pull that mic over a bit closer to you, will you? Thank you.
So, tell me, Falsely Accused Network. What led to this being a thing?
Well, actually, the actual start of Falsely Accused Network was actually paternity fraud. For people who are watching and listening, what is paternity fraud? This is where a woman will tell person A that he's the biological father of the child, when in fact it's not, it's person B. And she either knew that it was false completely all the way along, or was at least reckless to the truthfulness of it. So she knew there was a possibility, but just ran with it.
Mm-hmm.
And my story starts, Scott, when I found out on May the 15th, 2020, at 4:30 in the afternoon, that the boy I was raising, who thought was mine, told was mine, wasn't mine. I received DNA test results which confirmed a suspicion that I had. And I don't think I'll ever forget that day. I felt like I was shot in the stomach.
Absolutely unbelievable. That sounds horrific.
It was horrendous, and it's still even to this day is painful for me. And I then, when this happened, I made a very good educated guess that my ex the biological father was a married man. And I was right. And I'm not going to name any names, obviously. I know who these people are now.
Right,
I'm not here to expose people's names on this anyway. And I wanted to adopt the child. The child was 2 at the time.
So after finding out that you weren't his biological dad,
as soon as I found out, my love didn't diminish.
Yeah.
It didn't stop. It didn't disappear. It didn't. That's it. And And by the way, I actually couldn't understand it if some men do walk away. Let me make that clear for any listeners, watchers. Some men do walk away when they find out, and either's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Either's perfectly okay. I've supported men who've just said, "No, I can't do this," and walk away, and I get it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was the other men that actually think, "Do you know what? We can adopt." And she made my life difficult. She said I could see him, then I couldn't, then I could, then I couldn't. And then I went to family court. Couldn't afford a solicitor at the time. And that's where I was met with a barrage of false domestic abuse allegations.
So the first you heard of them were in court?
That was the main bulk, yes. I remember when I got her statement, and I actually burst into tears, and I'm not ashamed to admit it, because I just couldn't understand why she was doing it.
Yeah.
I could not. Not only had she put me through paternity fraud,
mm-hmm.
and then stopped me from seeing the child. Oh, but she'd let my mother. Oh, sorry, she would let my mother see the child, but not me.
Why? Just because she decided.
It was. I can never understand. So my mother was still seeing the child, and that put her in a difficult spot. And I couldn't afford a solicitor or barrister. I see the value in solicitors and barristers in family court if you can afford them, and we can touch upon that later. They are very expensive, and I get that. So I went with a Mackenzie friend who did a good job, and I didn't know anything about family law at the time. I was so traumatised and depressed and upset. I wouldn't have had a clue what to do.
Can I just go back before we go into Mackenzie friend? So So just before you found out the DNA test came through,
Mhm.
what age was wee boy?
Nearly 2.
Nearly
just
2,
just
right.
under 2, yeah.
So see, in those 2 years, were you normal dad? Was it normal?
So I
normal
was. I'm going to go back a little bit further just so it makes sense. I actually decided to leave my ex, and I made a decision to leave. So I told her I was going to Germany, which is true. I was going to Germany, but she didn't know. Maybe she did or picked up on it or not. I'll never know.
Right.
That I wasn't coming back. That it was over. So the day I went to Germany, I thought, this is it. We're done.
Mm-hmm.
I was relieved. I thought, this is the relationship finished. So this is 7th of November 2017. And I landed in Berlin and I got a phone call as I was checking in the hotel. It was her. She said, I'm pregnant. And I was happy and sad. Both equal measure. I was happy I was going to be a father, but I thought, oh my God.
You were planning on leaving
I
this
was leaving her.
So she didn't know at this point that you weren't coming back. You think she might have had an idea?
I think she twigged. I didn't formally tell her, but I think she twigged. I think she picked up on something.
Right.
But I came back to Manchester a few days later. I went to the first doctor's appointment. I went to the early scan. We had an early scan. NHS, it's at certain intervals, but you can have an early scan. We went for an early scan at a private place. And
Right.
I remember seeing the scan for the first time. I was emotional, thinking, this is my child. We didn't know the gender at the time. And went to the second scan, found out going to be a boy. I was delighted. I thought I wanted a son. If I could, but
you have no other children prior to this, right?
No. So this would have been my first child, and I was looking forward to becoming a father, and I had to put behind that the relationship wasn't the best. I thought, no, we've got to get on with this now. We've got a child coming along. I was at the birth. I broke down in tears when the boy was born. Had my surname integrated into our family. When the child was 6 months old, I decided to leave the relationship for the final time. However, I was there with the child, bringing him up still. I was going around most days of the week.
Mm-hmm.
If anything, the relationship with my ex was even better that we broke up, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? I hope it does.
No, I get that, yeah. So the two of you were just being parents and putting the child first.
Yeah. And it was fantastic. It was a wonder. I used to stay at mine. I used to take him out, provided for him. And it was, I look back on that period of my life. I'm proud to be his father.
Yeah.
Very proud.
Can I ask, at that point, was there any doubt?
I noticed that the child did look more like his mother. And I just came to the conclusion that I didn't think I wasn't his father. I just looks more like mum. Because some kids can. Some kids can heavily look like the mother or heavily look like the father.
My daughter does. So that's normal. I think they look more like one parent.
They can. So I just put it down to that. Then when the child was about 15 months old now, someone was getting the timeline in my mind right. A friend of mine said, I don't think you're the father. And I went, you're being ridiculous. Actually said it out loud. We were in the pub one night and said, I don't think. And I said, no, don't be ridiculous. Of course, Max would never lie about that. And this is what I think kept, this going, that I just didn't think she would lie about this.
Mm-hmm. What made this friend say that, do you think?
I think it was coming from a genuine place. There was no malice behind it whatsoever. It was a genuine concern. I think my friend was very brave saying that. Not many men would actually say that to a friend, actually. I think, but most men maybe keep that secret. So I just said, no, just thank you. I thought maybe it was the beer talking. No, no way. And then we get to the April 2020, and the little boy was playing in my car. And I've took thousands, and I mean, I'm talking thousands of photographs of him. I'm not, I was always on the camera taking pictures and videos and getting to speak and what have you. And this particular day, I took a load of photographs of him. And in this particular one photograph, it was the way he looked. And he didn't look like me and didn't look like his mother.
Wow.
And it was this, said, right, I'm going to have a DNA test. It just sort of said,
yeah, let's put your mind at ease.
Let's just put this at ease. And I was so confident when I ordered the DNA test. So it was during COVID. So it was about £99. It wasn't a legal one, it was an at-home one.
Right, okay.
It's the same test, it's just you can't prove chain of custody. That's all it is. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
It's the only difference. It is the same machine, it's everything. It gives you the same result, but it can't be used in court because it's my word that I did the samples right. Yeah. That's all. That's the only reason why. And I remember doing it thinking, this is just going to just settle this now. I'm just going to get on with the rest of my life. Of course, she would never lie about this. Of course he's mine. I've just got to do this for my own peace of mind. That's what they call them a peace of mind test. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it was like, I think it was like very early May or very late April now. I waited till it was just, sorry.
I was going to say, did you tell his mother?
No.
Right, okay.
No. I took the decision not to tell her because in my head I thought it's going to come back as mine. Mm-hmm. And I can just file it away and just get on with the rest of my life. She'll never know. Yeah. And I did check the legalities of it and I could do it. I had to make sure that I could do it because I was on the birth certificate. Yep, no problem. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't too sure the best way to do this. So I did go online, did a bit of research and it was said to wait till they're asleep. I waited till he was asleep, did the test, you put it on the card, did mine.
Just a saliva test to take it?
Yeah, just a saliva. Right, okay. You wipe it in both inside the cheeks. Mm-hmm. Then you put it on a card, it changes the colour. I did one for myself, you sign it and off it goes. And because it was COVID, they were doing tests, but it was taking the time. So it normally takes about 2 days, or about 10.
Right.
It was like...
longest 10 days ever.
I couldn't sleep. I was like, what's going on here? But I still carried on seeing him.
Yeah.
And they said to me, I think on the Wednesday, which was the 13th, they said, we got your test. We have to just do a second test. There's just a reporting error at our end or something. I just thought that was perfectly normal. I now know what that means.
Ah, right, okay. So they obviously do that if it comes back.
So they have to do several. They want to do several. They do. I didn't know this at the time, but they do several retests just to make sure.
Yeah.
I went, okay, yeah, marvellous. And then it came through on Friday afternoon. At that, I can remember.
So I take it was just envelope in the post?
No, it was email.
Oh, was it?
An email. So you get an email, and I just felt like I'd been shot in the stomach. The child was with us when we got the result as well, but I try not to show any emotion in front of him. But I remember my mother specifically crying, and I've never ever seen her that upset ever in my life.
So how did that play out? Did you get this on your laptop and literally show her?
Yeah, I said I'm so sorry, and then she just capitulated. My father was there.
You apologised.
I said to her, I'm so sorry. I said and I remember I went outside and I rung my ex and I said, can you come round? I just need to have a chat with you. She goes, what is it about? I said, look, just come round. I didn't want to do this over the phone. She goes, no, tell me. I said, okay, well, I've done a DNA test on the child, won't name the child. saying I'm not the father. She just put the phone down.
Right, I've got mixed up here. Who did you show the laptop to? And
My
then
mother.
Your mother. Sorry.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So the laptop I showed to my mother.
Got you.
I said, there's the results. But then my ex was out doing whatever she does
Yeah.
when I had the child.
And obviously, your mother must have been devastated as well, because it's not just you. But your mother.
Oh, my mother's to this day, deeply affected by this.
Yeah.
Deeply affected. She's still having counselling now.
So you phone your ex.
She
hangs up the phone.
She hangs up the phone. And then she sends me a WhatsApp message. I'm going off memory here. She said, "I don't believe you. Send me the results." So I did. And then she goes, "Right, I'm coming round to pick the child up." And I had to film the if you like, the altercation.
Mm-hmm.
I have shown you the altercation. You can see I was perfectly fine, wasn't I? I didn't swear.
For a man that just had that news delivered, I don't think you could be faulted at how you would have acted, but the way you acted was just perfectly calm and level-headed.
And I wanted answers, and she wouldn't give them me. She was very, very hard-faced and still denying it. I think you've seen the footage. She was...
No apology.
Nothing. I've never had an apology, ever.
No.
And off she went. And then it was this cat and mouse for months after that. She'd let me see him, then no, then yes. And then it ended up with only your family can see him, but you're not.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was unclear whether the biological father was in the life or not. I made a very good guess he was a married man. I was correct. And that's when when I went to family court, all the false allegations started.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is all too familiar these days.
Mm.
So your family, you mentioned your family were still allowed to see the wee boy, but not you.
Yes. So in that scenario, the rest of my family said no. If Mike can't see him, we're not.
Mm-hmm.
But my mother chose to carry on seeing him, and I get that.
Yeah,
I get that. She was and still is deeply in love with that child.
Yeah,
to this day.
Mm-hmm. I'm just going to pause because we can do a quick edit here, because I noticed this happened on a previous podcast with that red light behind. See, on Mike's camera, we'll end up with a red face. Does he need to shift his chair or whatever? See if you look at me, Mike. Aye.
Yeah, it's when he turns round.
Yeah, is it okay though?
I don't think it's an issue.
Right, it was actually John's one we done, and I thought he ended up doing this, and he was facing this way at one point.
Right.
So it's
all right. Shall I just position that way a little bit?
Yeah, is that okay?
Is that better?
Yeah, I'd say so.
There
Is the camera, is the mic okay?
Mike's fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Put a clean cut in. Right, so sorry, as you were, your mum's deeply in love.
Yeah, my mother's still suffering, deeply in love with him. And I think
people forget about that, don't they? They forget, not just in this situation, but even just custody.
Yeah.
When parental alienation, you know, it's not just the dad or the mum that suffers; it's the rest of the family.
Absolutely, this is it. In paternity fraud, so the Paternity Fraud UK, which I set up shortly after, because I then had to get a lot of legal information, bring it together.
Right.
I knew there was nothing out there, not in the UK anyway, that supported paternity fraud victims, and my attitude is, well, I better set this up, then I'll start this off.
Yeah.
And a third of our phone calls come from women on the paternity fraud side.
Do they?
Oh yeah. And it's either wrong grandmothers. It could be wronged aunties. It can be, and it also, a common one is the partner. So like, I'm trying to say. So the partner of a man who's found out in a previous relationship that a child he was raising and is too traumatised to speak to me, which is common, by the way. Very difficult to get paternity fraud victims to speak about this. Extremely difficult. Right, okay. Very difficult. I've had many men send me an inquiry. Mm-hmm. And then, unfortunately, when I've gone to call them, you know, I've said, all right, well, the struggle. And I hope anybody that is watching and listening, please don't be afraid to speak to me about paternity fraud. I really do know your pain.
Yeah.
I really do know.
So a lad that Voice for Dads has been going for coming up in a year. I didn't know what paternity fraud meant until I met you, until you told me, which is interesting.
It's a taboo subject, Scott. It's a huge taboo subject.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's everything. What you said so far sounds like a living nightmare.
It is.
Can I just ask a quick question? So paternity fraud's obviously the term, right? Is that recognised legally speaking?
So in England and Wales, there's 2 avenues. 3 actually. 3 you can go down. So in England and Wales, it is illegal for someone to name the wrong person on the birth certificate.
Knowingly.
Knowingly. Yeah, knowingly.
Yeah.
It's classed as perjury, and it's a criminal offence.
Okay.
We know of very, very few prosecutions for it. Tiny amount. Okay. Also, in a criminal sense, it can be classed as fraud by misrepresentation. And again, there have been prosecutions. There was one recently that went through where, and I supported the family Ryan Hampson, the Ryan Hampson case. I remember his phone call coming through to my helpline, and I helped him through this. His ex used a fake DNA test to convince him he's the father of a child.
Oh my God.
Wow,
Fake
that's another level.
50 quid to ruin a man's life. That's what she paid for a fake DNA test.
So the DNA test came back saying that
He was the father.
He
didn't know it was fake. And then 2 years later, she just sort of, we're not sure why to this day, but she just suddenly sort of said, "Oh no, I've had a communication of the DNA company that that there was an error with the first one. We need to do it again."
But she knew all along.
Of course she did. And then obviously he backtracked and worked it all out. That was such a difficult prosecution to get over the line, but he did it.
Yeah.
Him and his mother, Claire, remarkable people, but they did. They pushed it. She was successfully prosecuted. She pleaded guilty to fraud by misrepresentation. She got a 13-month suspended prison sentence. Now, I'm not into sort of jailing people, gung ho.
Yeah.
So, and she was a mother with another young child. So it's about, I'm not sure how old, maybe 4 or 5 now. But the fact is, we got a criminal conviction says a lot. It raised awareness, and she will suffer like they've suffered.
Yeah, that's definitely
a criminal
positive.
conviction will. And the other line, other route in England and in Wales is in the civil courts. It's called the tort of deceit, which is a very, very fancy way of saying fraud, civil fraud. And it's quite difficult to get that over the line. You've got to prove that so in this case, in paternity fraud, the woman made a representation which went on to be false. She knew it was false or was reckless to the truthfulness of it, that the man then relied upon it, and then as a consequence of this, suffered a loss. It's the difficult part is proving that she knew it was false or was reckless, because what they do is they just hide behind, I just genuinely believed that he was the father, and that's exactly what my ex did.
Yeah, and how do you...
I don't believe her for a minute that she said, "I just believe Mike was the father." There's a bit of evidence there. She knew all along, in my opinion. Let's keep this legal, shall we? I genuinely believe she knew all along I wasn't the father.
Yeah.
I don't.
Let's go back to that then. So she comes and picks up this wee boy, takes him in the car, and then what happens? What happens next?
So then, I didn't see him for a few weeks. I did try to message her, and she wouldn't answer. And then she said, "All right, you can see him." So I did. It wasn't as much as before.
Right, okay.
It wasn't as much as before.
How frequent?
Once, twice a week. Whereas it was about 5-6 times a week before.
Yeah.
And my mother was seeing him. And then I wanted to sort of clear the air about, well, what we're doing about the future. What we're doing. And I said, well, I'd like to adopt him. No, you're not. I said, well, does the biological father know? She went, no, it doesn't know. I have nothing to do with him. Now, it turns out she was lying. He was seeing him. This is the compulsive liar. This is the problem.
Yeah. Do you think she was seeing him? Do you think the biological father was seeing him before he'd done the DNA test?
Yes.
Right.
I genuinely believe he knew. Again, it's a belief. I can't necessarily prove this beyond reasonable doubt, but I think he knew about 4 or 5 months before I did. She said, I remember she got a job and it was in South Manchester, which is quite away from where I've got to be careful where not to name places.
Yeah.
And she started taking the child to a nursery which was near there, but then she lost the job very quickly, but carried on going to that nursery. And then out of the blue, so this is 4 months before I found out.
Mm-hmm.
Out of the blue, she said, I can't name the child. The child goes up to people in the park and calls them dad. And I just went, that is just so effing weird. And now I figured it out. Obviously, shortly after the DNA test, when I replayed it,
Do you think it's because that he was meeting his biological dad and calling him dad?
Yeah, that's what I believe. And if you think about why she may have done this, because we are still speculating, of course, just in case if the child saw him,
And called him dad.
And she's already said, I've told you, it goes up to people.
Yeah.
And that's what I think.
That calculated, thinking ahead.
That's what I believe. That was put to her in the paternity fraud civil action. She admitted she said that, but it was just an observation of him. She said he wasn't meeting his dad. That's nonsense. This woman can lie for England.
Everything you said so far sounds so bad. Like I don't know how you're sitting in front of me today.
What keeps me going, Scott, is I find strength from helping others.
Right.
I actually, by helping others, that it helps me with the pain. I'm thinking something good has got to come from what I went through.
Yeah.
It's got to
try and turn it into a positive.
That's what I'm doing.
Somehow.
Yeah.
So she refuses to have you legally adopt him.
Yep.
You end up in court. False allegations.
Yep.
False allegations, unfortunately, are so common in the family courts. It'd be strange, I suppose, to not have them. The amount of cases I've listened to, observed, heard about, witnessed, just the same. False allegations are part of the process.
Yeah.
How do you defend yourself?
Well, there's different types of allegations. So you've got what we call provably false allegation. So where you can actually prove it is utter nonsense that these dates, we'll give you some examples. If a woman says you did this on the 15th of October and you can prove you weren't there, you weren't in the country, that's a provably false allegation. So I got some that were provably false. I could just prove utter nonsense. Mm. There was somewhere she took something that did happen, but completely blew it out of proportion, added bits on, twisted it from something that was just maybe an argument into something completely. And you're like, no.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So I call them ones like a bit of a half truth. There's a bit of truth in it. You may have an element of truth in what she's saying, but it's not domestic abuse either. She's completely.
Yeah.
Now, the most difficult ones for people to defend themselves against are what we call the he said, she said. Where you can't prove it happened.
No evidence, but there's no evidence to say that it didn't happen.
It's one person says one thing, one person says another. No one can prove it did happen. No one can prove it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we see a lot of them in the family court. Luckily with mine, I had a good Mackenzie friend who helped me with that, and we did a really good job of just hammering that through, that this couldn't have happened. this person can't be relied upon, so on and so on.
And it's surely when you have the ones that you can prove so easily, that's a lie, then everything comes into question.
Exactly.
Everything this woman says should be questioned.
This is what we hope judges do.
We'll see.
You know, hope, you know, not always, but yeah, I got a very good judge.
Right.
I thought so anyway. A woman as well. She was actually.
Oh, was she?
Yeah.
Interesting. So, how long after DNA test happens are you in court?
So, about a year later.
A year.
Yeah. About a year later was the first hearing.
So you go to family court, you're fighting off false allegations, left, right and centre. You manage to do that.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next?
So, because the child had been introduced to his biological father, it was, and I broke my heart in that final hearing.
Yeah.
But I agreed. It's going to be too confusing.
Mm-hmm.
Child has to come first. It wasn't about me, it was about the child. So it's at that point when I had to accept defeat on that one. And I was breaking my heart, and I can remember just crying in front of this judge, and she was really nice actually. She was really nice. She was good. She was very fair. And then I attempted to, after that, to sue my ex.
Your ex. Mm-hmm.
And like I mentioned earlier, the chances of a criminal case are virtually impossible. Very difficult, unless they confess to it. And even then, you know.
So what were the specifics? What were you suing her, apart from the obvious, what were you suing her for then?
I was suing her for emotional harm and distress.
Right.
Now, I did use the same Mackenzie friend for that. It was a mistake. It was a part of law she wasn't really familiar with, I must admit. And I say to anybody now, if you are going to sue under the tort of deceit to civil action, do use a solicitor.
Right. Okay.
There was a few errors made on the first particulars of claim, but notwithstanding that.
Yeah. So you weren't successful then in suing her?
No.
No.
The judge was I don't know why he just didn't get off the bench and sit next to her in that first hearing. It was a bit better in the second hearing, I must admit. It was a bit better. I think once we got a bit more information out in the second, it was a bit better, but
there's clearly no sympathy for your situation.
Very little.
No empathy.
It was just very dismissive. Almost bullying, actually, in that first hearing.
Yeah.
Yeah. It weren't a very pleasant judge at all. And it was difficult because I had to prove she either knew I wasn't the father or the recklessness. And I tried to argue, well, she slept with another man. Surely she must have known there was a risk.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But this judge wasn't having it. I was unrepresented. I was trying to do it as a litigant in person. Right. That is a mistake, I'd say, by the way. If anyone does want to do this,
that particular, if you're suing someone for that.
I'd say a civil action like that, don't do it as a litigant in person. It's way more complex than family law. Yeah. Way more. But yeah, she got away with it.
Yeah.
She got away with it. Legally, she got away with it.
So everything she done, no charge, no conviction.
Nothing.
No criminal charge.
No.
Just off scot-free.
Not a thing.
Beggar's belief. I can't find the words. I don't know what to say.
Well, this is it. It's a woman can commit paternity fraud.
Yeah.
Claim they didn't know. Claim it was a mistake. I genuinely believed. Ruin men's lives, ruin other people, not just their own fathers, even biological families that they may have wanted to be there. It's so many. It's like a bomb that goes off, and it's. Oof.
So before we get into what you did next, like keep going back, staying on your own personal situation. So you've went to court. You've realised, look, I'm not going to be able to adopt. No. You've got to prepare yourself for never seeing who you thought was your son again. What did that do to you? How did you cope?
I cope by helping others.
Even then, like even when you're going through that.
Even now, I cope by helping others. It's the only way I know I can deal with this.
Yeah.
I use my pain to answer those phone calls, to answer those emails, to do those advertisements, to talk to do my blog, to do my podcast, to do that. You know, I use my pain hoping that something good can come from this. So evil doesn't overcome good.
Yeah.
Because what she did to me and my family was pure evil.
Oh, it was. Absolutely. No doubt.
Pure evil.
No doubt.
She's shown no remorse, no repentance.
Yeah.
No, not even an email to me saying, I'm so sorry for what happened. You know, even if she worded it cleverly so it wouldn't end up with a legal situation. Nothing. Not a jot.
The damage that she possibly hasn't done, given the age that this wee boy was that you decided to do a DNA test. But if you chose to do that DNA test when the wee boy was 10, think of the damage that could have done.
Can you? We've dealt with
to
paternity
you and the wee boy.
Well, I totally agree. I mean, the paternity fraud cases we deal with, we get people where it's much older than 2.
Yeah, it was just.
Can you imagine what it's? I can't imagine. Imagine being 10 years old and then you got this person who you think's dad, and then no, he's not. I can't imagine.
No, I can't. I can't imagine what it'd be like to go through what you went through.
Yeah.
And then the ones that, as you say, the child's older. I can't. No one will ever understand how you're in that situation. My daughter, I haven't seen for years now, and she's been stolen from me, stolen from my life. She's still my daughter. I know she's still out there. You know, so I can't imagine what you've been through.
The best way I can describe paternity fraud is, if you can imagine when you find out, it's like bereavement. It's like the person has died, but the person's still alive.
Yeah.
And that's a similar thing with men and women that have gone through parental alienation. So it's a very, very similar.
It is similar, yeah, and I can relate to that. You know that you're grieving a child that's living,
that's alive and well.
But I can only, I mean, I'm trying to imagine what it'd be like, but it must be genuinely like that, like grieving, because they're never coming back.
No, it's doubtful I'll ever. I can never make my mind up whether I'd like to reconnect when he's an adult. I'm not sure whether it'd be good or a bad idea. I don't know, and that I don't know.
And what was, to your knowledge, does he see his biological dad?
To the best of my knowledge, what happened was once the biological father, his family found out.
Right.
So he was married. He still is a married man.
Right. Okay.
His wife forgave him. I don't know if that's the word, or chose to live with it, if you like. I don't know. And then he, as a consequence, walked away from the child. So the child's got no father in his life whatsoever.
Wow.
And he could have had us. And we'd have took him on and adopted him.
Yeah. So again...
And I will never, ever, ever forgive that man for doing that to that child.
Yeah, for him walking out.
I cannot forgive him for it. It upsets me. I'm nearly getting emotional thinking about it. Is how can you walk away from a child that you made?
It's your child, yeah.
How can you do it?
It's his responsibility.
And okay, his argument was that he never knew when the child was born that was his. Okay, go on. Let's even say let's run with that and say we believe him. But then once he knew, how could you then walk away?
Once it was proven that, yeah.
How can I honestly? How anyone can do that to a child?
Yeah.
I've got no words for people like that.
And then you think back to your ex, the child's mum, the damage that she's done, and still, not held responsible.
Nope.
Just gets away with it.
Nothing. Not bothered. Not sorry.
So the damage she is now doing to her child, because her child's going to grow up without a dad.
Yep.
Because of her actions. Disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. So we've covered your own personal story. which is tragic, to say the least. What happens next? So paternity fraud comes before falsely accused network, am I right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
So Paternity Fraud UK was started before Falsely Accused Network. So what the next step for us is that our support group, which is, we have a private one, and it's men and women in there who've all been affected by paternity fraud. We're meeting with
Women?
yeah, we got some women in there. Wrong grandmothers
Right.
tend
got
to
you.
be, yeah.
Yep.
We're meeting with some MPs in Westminster on the 9th of September. And we're asking for two things. The first thing we're asking for is that for paternity fraud, instead of it being seen as at the moment, because there's no specific law against paternity fraud,
Mm-hmm.
it gets bundled in with general fraud, if you like, where it's
Right,
money, it's
okay.
all about money. Well, we're saying that paternity fraud needs to be reclassified as a form of abuse.
Mm-hmm.
Because as far as I'm concerned, and I will go on say this, I was psychologically and emotionally abused in the most vile way by my ex.
Yeah.
And and the rest of us see this as a form of abuse rather than a financial crime. So we want the law in England and Wales to reflect that, to say that actually this is a form of abuse,
Mm-hmm.
a form of, to me, it's psychological torture.
Mm-hmm.
What we'd also like, and this is where it sets up a debate, is mandatory DNA testing at birth.
Right, okay.
So we'd like every child to be tested against the alleged father before a man can go on a birth certificate.
Right, okay.
We say this
Mm-hmm.
would stop paternity fraud in its tracks. Because then
it would, yeah.
a woman then would know
Mm-hmm.
that if she is come to try and do paternity fraud, that she's going to get caught.
Yeah.
So it would deter most from doing it. And let's say the ones that do try it on or are not sure,
Mm-hmm.
then the truth will get uncovered at these tests.
Yeah. I mean, can't deny it would stop it in its tracks. It absolutely would. And then there should be no harm if that's part of the process. If you go to hospital, you go to maternity ward.
That's what we say.
It's just part of the process.
Well, we've heard some arguments from people, should we say?
Well, I'm curious to know who you're going to say is against this.
Feminists, yes. Our favourites. Who say that it's an invasion of privacy.
Bullshit.
Really?
Well,
I struggle with that.
There's a
one.
logical argument to that, because you're taking somebody's DNA and you've got them against a wall. They've got no other option. If they want to be on the birth certificate and be a part of that child's life, they have to give up their DNA. There's nothing more personal than your own DNA. There's nothing other than having to give up your child. I mean, as far as personal belongings and data and all that sort of stuff goes, DNA is your essence. So to have no choice but to give that up to somebody, knowing in this day and age, obviously with AI and everything else, AI and everything else, with the new types of fraud that we're getting into, it's no too hard to imagine that a data leak could happen in the future where people's DNA is leaked.
So are you thinking just about that though?
I'm just refuting that point. You know what I mean? Like that. There's a genuine logical argument there.
That one. I think it's very. I've heard that the argument is that similar to that didn't get into AI, where they said, well, it'll go in a database somewhere, and the government have all our DNA. Well, the government in England are actually taking DNA of every child now, or they will be soon anyway, to test them for genetic diseases.
Ah, right. Okay.
That's happening, or will be happening
without permission of the parent.
I think it's just being done.
Well, it'll be one of these ones you probably need to opt out then, by the sounds of it. In Scotland, organ donors and stuff, now every person in Scotland's automatically on it unless you opt out. Maybe it's that case.
So we're saying, well, why not test to see the father? Because a woman has biological certainty. She knows it comes out. Why can't we have that?
I would agree. So do you agree with it?
I'm
Michael?
trying to process this right now, right? The only thing I can say for certain is that if going through the process of my kids being born,
Mm-hmm.
I was told that I needed to get a DNA test in order to go on the birth certificate, I would be offended. I would do it because why would I not? You know what I mean? That those are my kids. I want my name in that birth certificate. I want to have the maximum sort of right to my children. So, for context, myself and my partner are not married. We've been together for a long, long time, well over a decade.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't have any reason at this moment in time to fear that I could find, you know, we're not like a new couple, you know, like we've been together a year and then we have a kid and then it's like, well, what happens in 5-10 years time? I don't have that, you know what I mean? I know that my partner is my partner and, you know, that's not going to change. So, but I would still want to be on the birth certificate to ensure that should anything happen, I've got the best case and not having my kid. Obviously, I know now my eyes have been widely opened.
Yeah. I suppose I get
you know
where you're coming from, and I get that if to go on the birth certificate, you need to prove yourself. You know, I get that people can be offended at that. But if this was something that just got done, like I'm sure other tests get done on babies when they're born, without anyone really knowing, you know, and then you only get, you know, a kind of chap on the shoulder, a touch on the shoulder from the nurse if they find out, like, you're not the dad. At least they find out there and then. But without that, it's never going to be, you know, a chap on the shoulder saying, "Oh, you're the dad. Congratulations."
I can't argue the benefit of it. I can only just say that, you know, sitting here right now trying to process it, the only thing I'm certain of is that I would have been offended in my own situation.
So see, how much, I mean, because this is not, we've never dived into this, but when you think about it, there will be thousands of people just in this country who believe that their dad's their dad and he isn't.
So the stats, it's difficult to get accurate stats on this, and it's a difficult, tough area. The best I found was a study done by Professor Mark Bellis.
Right.
And it was done in 2004, where he's got a median figure of 4%. Except it could be higher, it could be a little bit lower than that. Now, 4% paternity fraud rate for the United Kingdom doesn't sound much at first, does it? So you start computing the numbers,
you think it's
and
hundreds
it's
of thousands.
millions.
Millions, is it millions?
4% of the population, is it 70 million in the United Kingdom? So what's that? That's
2.8 million.
2.8 million. So 2.8 million kids, if you like, have been told. Oh, they could be adults now, but if you just did it. Then there's 2.8 million wrong fathers. There's 2.8 million biological fathers. You've got 2.8 million wrong grandfathers. So at 4%, it's a lot.
It becomes millions and millions of people affected.
It mushrooms out of control. So we're saying, well, we can stop this by a simple DNA test at birth. It's uninvasive, and the privacy concerns could be built into law where they can't store them. That can be overcome. I personally don't see a problem with mandatory DNA testing at birth. And again, I get the privacy one. I thought about it. Yeah, I wouldn't want my DNA in a database. But why? If that could be built into law.
It's one of those things as well, though. If it puts to bed, you know, if it ends something like this, where, you know, thousands of people a year now are suffering or have been, I'd be for it.
Yeah,
you know, why not just say, I'm quite, you know, I know that my child's my child, but if you want to do a DNA test because it helps other people, then
deters others. It would it'd be a big deterrent effect.
Well, it would.
Quick saliva tests done. Right, that's it.
Yeah.
So just try to let us kind of settle in and think, you know, look, right, take a step back logically. My kind of thing to come back in that would be, if that was going to become a thing, then bring along with that increased rights. So kind of what we are fighting for with Voice for Dads. If you're going to go to the step of you're going to require my DNA to put me in the birth certificate, then that should also then come along with something, some kind of mandate that child can then be never taken away from you unless you're proved to be a danger to that child in a court of law.
Yeah. Well, that's an interesting point, isn't it? Because we know that firsthand that according to the law just now, that parents have equal parental rights.
Yeah.
Which isn't the case.
No.
So, right, fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So you're going to Westminster 9th of September.
Yes.
And meeting MPs.
So Ryan Hampson is who we Paternity Fraud UK supported for his criminal case. He's been really doing some great campaign work on this.
Right. Okay.
And he's arranged this, and we'll be going. I'll be going there with him. Hopefully, my mother will, and other victims from around the country that are going as well.
Sounds great.
So
I would say I'd like to join you, but we're at Holyrood, part of Scottish Parliament.
And I'm also at Falsely Accused Day the same day as well, the one in London. So yeah, I've got a busy day that day.
Let's talk about time frames. What year was this then, where you went to court and basically had to walk away?
So that ended late 2021.
2021, right. And then you started Paternity Fraud
I started Paternity Fraud UK. It's actually before then. It was a few months after I found out.
Right, okay. And what is Paternity Fraud UK then?
So what we do is we're a helpline and a support organisation that can support anybody, and we can cover the whole UK with this one.
Right.
And when we get to Falsely Accused Network, we are restricted. But anyone affected by paternity fraud in the UK, whether you're like me, a wrong father, you could be a wrong grandmother, you could be the biological father, you could be a child who's gone on to be an adult. We've got people that have found out, don't know who else to speak to, we can help them.
Yeah.
If you've been affected by paternity fraud in any way,
we
can help you. What we can do is it's a chance to speak about it in private with me. Then I can start to look at the legal help that you need and the lawyers that we've networked up with.
Right.
So we can get you into the right place with that. But most importantly, we've got a support group where you can speak to others who know about this. It's difficult. If you've never been through this, like you said earlier.
I can imagine. Yeah.
It's difficult. I wouldn't have known before it happened to me what to say to somebody if they were if they were a paternity fraud victim. I wouldn't have had a clue. But now I do.
Yeah.
So
you've got a helpline?
Yes.
When's the helpline open?
So, call it, I'm giving the numbers out to, it's the same as the Falsely Accused Network one, so we use that one. So, yeah.
We've got that, we can pop that on the screen just now then. So
it's 0204 538 8788, which is the same number as the Falsely Accused Network.
Right, okay. And phone anytime?
Give us a call or email us at paternityfrauduk@gmail.com.
Great. So you've started Paternity Fraud UK. What led to Falsely Accused Network?
So what got us here was...
The details there. So that's Falsely Accused email, and then it's the same number.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can contact us either through the Falsely Accused Network or Paternity Fraud. Either. I'll see it. We'll find it.
Cool.
So this came after... I was getting people and men going through false allegations, and I was looking out there at the time when I went through it, and there wasn't much out. There was Facebook groups. I have a very mixed view on Facebook groups. I really do. I have very, very mixed views. Some are very good, some are not.
I would agree.
And there was other little organisations out there which are still up and running, and I've made friends with them, and I've got very good relationships with them.
Right.
But I wanted something specific to help people, and it is predominantly men, and let's not shy away from that. It's men being affected by this. Yes, we do get... My stats show about 2% of calls come from women, 98% come from men. So this is a man's this is affecting men on an industrial scale. But let me just make it clear, anybody listening, watching, we do help women too. You're not going to get turned away. It does happen to women. But I thought we need to make this very, very specific to help people who've been falsely accused of domestic abuse. So, using what had happened to me, I started to network to find legal professionals who were sympathetic, and I did. And then I found Mackenzie friends who were sympathetic, which I did. And then we got a helpline set up and started putting information out there. And if you're going through this, we can help you.
Right.
That was over 2 years ago. The phone's never stopped.
Never stopped.
It's never stopped.
So falsely accused network, is this for men who are just falsely accused in family courts?
It's falsely accused of domestic abuse. So it can be criminal
Domestic
or family
abuse.
court. So it can span into both.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it does.
You've not got the local shoplifters phoning you up, no. Get me off this.
Yeah. No. We don't. No, it's. It might happen one day.
So it's men going, predominantly
men
going
who've
through
been
this.
falsely accused of domestic abuse, who then, if you watch and listen to this, see Falsely Accused Network as an emergency service.
Right.
You're going through it. It's happening, or it's happened now, or it's fairly recent,
Mm-hmm.
and we can help you with. You get to talk to one of us on the helpline. We start to then get you the right help that you need. So I can listen to I can speak to a gentleman and go, right, okay, you're going to need a criminal lawyer here because he's on bail. Okay, and there's a family issue here because there's a children. She's stopped them seeing the children, or there's a house, there's a non-molestation order.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure what you call them in Scotland. Is it the same?
No, it's the same. Yeah.
So then we get the right, connected up with the right legal people. So we are sympathetic to men who can't afford a solicitor. So we do know Mackenzie friends.
Right.
But our position is always, if you've got the money for a solicitor, please, you are better off. But it's easy said than done. They're very expensive. We know that. So then we have got a low cost option.
Can I ask you? You've got legal aid in England.
Legal aid is extremely difficult to get.
Right.
For men in the family court. Can be done, but it's very difficult.
Right. Okay. Just to get accepted.
So you need to be. It's a means and merit. So the means test, you have to be in a low income.
Mm-hmm.
And then the merit test, the man has to have some evidence that he was domestically abused.
Right. Okay.
Which is very difficult. 'Cause
Yeah.
a lot of men don't realise they've been abused.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of men are scared to report it. A lot of men have reported it, and the police don't take it seriously.
Mm-hmm.
They'll tell the doctors. Doctors seem to be a little bit more sympathetic, but even still, they're a bit reluctant to say this man's been abused. So it's very difficult for a man to get legal aid in England and Wales. Very difficult for family.
And I'm not actually sure about the legal aid process up here from a personal experience. I know a lot of people that have had it, but there's definitely a situation arises where it'll be difficult for a man to get it when they're wanting to fight to see their kid, but the mum is usually granted it because they're defending. That right? So you've got the pursuer, the defender. Defender's defending themselves, so they pretty much get it
she's saying,
regardless.
She's saying, no, I don't want dad to see the child because he's an abuser.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I mean...
So she's defending herself.
Yeah.
She gets it no bother. She gets to defend herself no bother,
Easy.
as well as make up all these false allegations and stuff most of the time. But for a man to get it, it's quite difficult in
Very difficult.
England. Right, okay.
Very difficult for a man to get legal aid in England and Wales. And then we have a problem with the costs of family law solicitors, which are quite high.
Mm-hmm.
So then men are left with an option of either going all alone as a litigant in person, which I don't recommend, or working with a Mackenzie friend, which is someone who can, I think you call it lay advisors in Scotland, which can then help them. And I always say, look, if you can't afford a solicitor, don't do this alone.
Mm-hmm.
Do use a Mackenzie friend. We know some good ones, but there is others out there, that are good.
Right, okay. Fascinating. So, falsely accused network, someone phones you up and says, I'm in a similar situation to what you were. Say you've got these accusations, they're going to court, you're trying to prove your innocence.
Mm-hmm.
In what way would you support them?
Right, so a phone call comes through, and the first part of support is listening.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of men are so reluctant to speak, but once they do speak to me or anybody else helping out, we understand where they're coming from.
Mm-hmm.
We get it. We do believe them. And then we start to look at the legal side of stuff. So we start to say, right, let's try and figure out where we are legally. So remember, I'm not a lawyer.
Yeah.
So I can give legal information. I cannot give legal advice. And there is a big difference to what the two is.
Yeah.
But I know enough to help them say, right, here's what you need. Let's look at what's the best option for you. So we go, right, can solicitor? No, they go, no, Cav. Right, look at Mackenzie. And we get them the right support that way. Straight away, that is a big weight off the shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Straight away. The next thing is that we look at mental health support. So we do know some therapists, counsellors who, again, are very sympathetic to men, non-judgmental, who are not going to be sat there thinking, was he telling the truth? No, it's really good.
Yeah.
And then we do have a private support group as well.
Is that in person or forum or what?
It's we did used to do meetings, stopped doing them for many reasons. I would warn people out there as well. We've made an error when I first started. I thought, let's do a WhatsApp group. You can't keep people safe in these WhatsApp groups.
Yeah.
You don't know who's in there.
Mm-hmm.
There's all sorts of stuff. So we advise people. I'm advising people, don't do WhatsApp groups, Signal or Discord groups.
Right.
Our group is on Wix Spaces, so it's people can't message each other. Everyone's safe. Everyone's been spoke to. It's moderated well, so it's keeping them safe as well as us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say to anyone.
And are these? I don't know what this is. I've not been involved in it before. So is this like a Zoom call?
Oh no, yeah. So Zoom calls, we don't do them anymore either.
Yeah,
we don't.
The one that you do.
We used to do Zoom. We used to do Zoom calls. We don't do them anymore now.
Right.
They ended up, in the end, being quite counterproductive.
Did they?
In the end,
Right.
I am toying with the idea of bringing back guest speakers for the groups, and that's about it. But we did do weekly support meetings, but they ended up being quite counterproductive.
Right. Okay.
And not very well attended.
Yeah.
It was just usually a very, very small number of people. So if anybody needs help, we've got the access to the therapist and the counsellor, and also me.
Yeah.
They can send me a message and I will
Yeah.
speak to them. We don't abandon anybody. If they send me a message, they'll get me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I will answer.
So is it a fair representation that False Accused Network is a major signpost then? So people can contact you and you can help people find the right support?
It's partly that, but I do plenty of work on a one-to-one basis.
Right, okay.
And there is a private support group there, so they can put a question in there.
Yeah.
I can share links. I can share blog posts. They can get help from other men in there as well.
Right, okay.
So there is an element of signposting because I want to make sure that people are getting the right, correct help that they need, and part of that is crucial is the right legal help.
Yeah. I'm curious, and this might be too intrusive. Do you have a rough cost on what you spent on legal fees if you never used a solicitor?
So I did 2 cases.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did 3. I had to get my name off the birth certificate.
Right.
That was free because I wasn't working at the time. So the court did. So then for the child arrangement, I spent about £1,500 with a Mackenzie friend, around that.
Mm-hmm.
Financial case, another 300. So about £3,000.
3,000.
Which, if I went through a solicitor, that would have been 10, 15 times that.
Yeah, yeah. So I think we touched on this on the phone when we were talking. A Mackenzie friend's different in England from Scotland, and in Scotland they can't be paid for their services. Is that correct?
Right. That's right.
So that's the biggest difference.
That's the biggest difference. So in England and Wales, a Mackenzie friend can be paid.
Right. Okay.
In Scotland, not allowed.
Yeah. And how do they regulate that then? Are these people that do this for a living?
Oh yeah. So there's people that do Mackenzie friend work for a living.
Right. Okay.
There is no regulation, and that is a concern that I hold as well.
Mm-hmm. So anyone could just step up and say Mackenzie friend.
And that's the problem. And that is the problem. I'd say the biggest. I nearly swore then. The biggest pain in the proverbial that I've had when it comes to legal assistance is finding good Mackenzie friends.
Yeah.
The solicitors have been great. Barristers that we know, great. And Mackenzie friends, it is hit and miss.
Right, okay.
It is hit and miss. There's some really good ones out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I know some really good ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've come across some who are absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Who when you meet them, they go, "Oh yes, I know about the law," and blah 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 blah. Then they do a couple of cases, and they clearly don't know
anything.
what they're chuffing doing.
Yeah. Interesting.
And then get rid.
So if someone contacts you from Scotland, where the law is obviously different up here, in what way do you help them there?
In Scotland, so it's different because the laws are different.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much we can do.
Right.
So I tend to do one or two things. I try and find out what I can about the case, and then I will either recommend speaking to gyms, which
Justice for Innocent Men
in
Scotland.
Scotland, which are a fantastic organisation. We've had a Zoom meeting with their representatives, and I'm very much a supporter of that organisation. Or Shared Parenting Scotland, which is a charity based in Edinburgh, if I'm not mistaken. I have spoken to them. So if you are in Scotland and you're listening to this and watching this and you've been falsely accused of domestic abuse, I'm really sorry. There isn't much I can, False Accused Network can do. We're based in England and Wales. But there's two organisations that you can speak to who can get you the right connections and the right help.
Yeah. And that's with the falsely accused. You can still help just the same with paternity fraud.
Paternity fraud I can.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
So what's next?
For Falsely Accused Network, what we've got to keep doing is banging this drum. We've got to keep getting the message out there that false allegations are a lot more common than that the system likes to acknowledge.
Yeah.
We want to expand our support as much as we can. I want this to be, how do I put it? I want it to be that well known that we are the go-to people.
Yeah.
And I think we already probably maybe there now, I don't know, but I want us to become a lot more well known. I want people to feel that if they have been falsely accused of domestic abuse, that you aren't alone.
Mm-hmm.
You aren't alone, and help is out there, and we are here for you.
Mm-hmm.
We know what it's like. But we've got to get to a point now where the courts have got to stop this, what I call confirmation bias. As soon as a man's accused, that's it. He's got to prove his innocence.
Yeah.
We've got to put a dent in that.
Mm-hmm.
And hopefully with Falsely Accused Day, I think you're going to Edinburgh.
Edinburgh, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to the London one on the same day. We've got to get noisy.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to get noisy. And I'm saying to people, we can't be silent anymore about this.
Yeah.
Silence is compliance. We've got to get out there and be noisy.
Sounds great. Have you had any men get in touch whereby you found out that maybe they weren't being truthful?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm curious about that because it's a difficult thing, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
We work on a good faith basis.
Mm-hmm.
So when people ring up, I'm not there. I don't try and figure out if this person's telling the truth or not.
Yeah,
I have to go on a good faith basis. I have had a small amount where I'm like, they've either said something, I think, you've given something away there, or they've shown us some evidence, and I'm like, actually, that's puts you in a bad light.
Mm-hmm.
And it's rare that happens. Let me make that clear. It's rare.
Yeah.
But if it does, I say to any man who has done, if they've been accused of domestic abuse and they have done it, is to get help.
Mm-hmm.
Get help. Admit it. The courts will get you on courses. They do have a DAP course. I think Scotland might have a similar one. Don't try and pull the wool over their eyes. If you've done it, if it's,
get your hands up and admit it.
Get your hands up.
Yeah.
Get the help. I mean, one common one might be that they may take a man may take drugs, and then that might lead to some behaviours. So really, it's the drugs that are leading to the behaviours, which is so on. So I may ask a question: do you take drugs? And they go, no. And I go, well, look, I say, I'm not judging you. Just need to be honest with me because they will find out. Well, actually, I said, right, that's fine. Hold your hands up. Tell them you've got a problem.
Open and honest.
You've got a problem with whether it's cannabis or whatever. Mm-hmm. Don't go in there trying to pull the wool over their eyes because they will not be happy when they find out. And they do hair tests, so they're going to find out.
Yeah.
So if you do need help, take it. Yeah.
Well, the worst drug of all is alcohol.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and everyone can just openly say, yeah, I drink, and it's
Oh, yeah, it's no problem.
not viewed as a bad thing at all. Yeah. So, there's another question for you. If you had a magic wand, what would you do with it when it comes to paternity fraud and the falsely accused? Just those two specifics.
Magic one would be mandatory DNA testing at birth.
That
With
would put-
privacy concerns taken into consideration, so and that is something I thought of with laws put in place where they can't be stored, or but yeah, mandatory DNA testing would then kill this dead.
Just stop it.
So no other man has to go through what I went through, or my family, or anybody else. And a magic one for false allegations would be: it just has to stop. It just has to stop this now.
The false allegations thing is worldwide
Oh yes.
and centuries old, right? This is as long as humanity's been around. But in the family courts, it's not as long as man's been around. You know, false allegations, family courts, we spoke about this in a previous podcast, are relatively new. You know, going back to 1950s, how many people did you know get divorced?
Not many.
You know, how many people would separate and then have to fight to see their kids? So it's, you know, this is relatively new. I've touched on it a lot through Voice for Dads. 30 years ago, I went through, as a child, parental alienation. I get ripped away from my dad's life, and I grew up without my dad when I was a teenager, when I was, you know, growing up. I then grew up, became an adult, and realised for myself the type of person that my mother was and is. Became an adult, realised that what she did was wrong, and that my dad wasn't this person that I'd been made to believe.
What's your relationship like with your mother now?
I haven't spoke to her in 15 years.
Do you plan to speak to her again?
No, don't even know she's alive. I have no interest in the woman. I found out so much when I became an adult about this woman that just doesn't sit well with me. Just not a nice human being. Never going to change. Awful what she done to me, my sister and my brothers growing up. And yeah, just not someone I'd ever want to be around. My dad now is in my life.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. It's kind of went full circle, but it's not a normal father-son relationship because of growing up without a dad. You know, it's just not.
How old were you when you went?
How old was what? Sorry.
How old were you when he left? When he was?
When I last saw him, I think I was 6 or 7.
Okay.
And then I went looking for him. Finally, found him when I was 20.
Okay.
So that period without him.
So it's 13, 14. So you had a big. Is that when then you found out the truth? Then when you were 20.
So when I was 20, I basically found out the truth slowly over maybe about a year.
Okay.
Finding out, going and seeing him a couple hours, you know, and not having a barrage at once, you know, trying to find out everything that's happened in the last 15 years. So it was kind of a double effect, and cross-referencing what I'd been told from her, how I remembered things, you know, and I remember this a different way.
What was her motive?
So it's a really interesting one. I don't really know what her motive would be. So she ran away with another man. So that's my 2 younger brothers' dad.
There's a
But
motive.
There's a motive, yeah, but I suppose what she'd done a lot of things where your average person would just be scratching their head, you know, really bizarre behaviour. Why would you put yourself in that situation? Just be kind, just be nice, just be normal, have a nice life. She almost thrived on chaos, so she did. Yeah. So yeah, terrible person.
What do you say? What do you say to feminists? Let's be frank. It's the feminists pushing this agenda that parental alienation isn't real. It's fake. It's a pseudoscience.
I would love to sit down with someone who believes that, who genuinely believes that. You know, I don't think I'd ever find anyone who genuinely believes that. On the feminist front, I have always stayed clear of voicing my opinions on feminists, whatever, right? Especially online, because you know what would happen. But what I will say is that I have a lot of female friends and a lot of females in my life, family, and not one of them class herself as a feminist.
I've got loads of female friends and they don't like feminism.
Yep, that's just it.
I can't find
None of
many.
them.
It's mainly to be
all
online.
my females, all the females in my life think that feminists are toxic and not great.
Yeah.
So don't listen to what I'm saying. Listen to what they're saying.
Oh, yeah.
You know, listen to other women.
I think what people got to remember about feminism is a political ideology. It's a set of beliefs. It's not women. Feminism isn't women. It's a political ideology.
Yeah.
Well, that's what they try and do. They try and conflate the two. But I don't. I see it as a set of beliefs, which is absolute nonsense.
Mm-hmm. It really is.
So.
But yeah, I would love to meet someone that tries to tell me that parental alienation is not real, because I went through it as a child and now I'm going through it as an adult.
Yeah, so you're a child victim and now an adult is on the other end of it. Yeah.
So going back to how this is a relatively new thing, you know, maybe the 70s, 80s, maybe was when it started to become the norm that people would get divorced more, and then kids started getting removed from their dads. So if, you know, say 50 years or so. But going back to the false allegations thing, false allegations worldwide versus false allegations in a family court are two different things. Because you can just say what you like in a family court.
Oh, yeah.
No evidence, nothing at all. Just say it. Just comes out, and we won't even address the fact of what you've just said is utter nonsense. We'll just go, all right, okay, that's fine. We'll just let you say that then. But it's the only place in the world it was happening.
It's the only court where I don't know if you do you get published cases up here. Did they publish some cases anonymously? Did they ever do that? Yeah, we get them in England and Wales as well. And the amount of times I've read a judgment and it'll say the mother's allegations were completely false. But you think, right, great, is she going to any type of punishment?
Any repercussion? Yeah.
No,
nothing at all.
No. So they know.
Crazy, isn't
they know
it?
people that make false allegations. They know, and again, we get it. Men can do it as well, but you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spoke before we started recording. There's a lot of things I can't say at the moment because I'm still going through the court process. But I have bared witness to, it's not just the mothers that just make up stuff in court, you know, and just get away with it. Just say it, you know, and you think, you're getting paid to be here. And we all know you're lying. And you want to stand up and go, correct, can we just pause? Just pause. Everyone pause. We all know that they're lying, yeah. But we don't. We'll just sit there and nod, go, yeah, okay, right, okay. Can I speak to defend myself? No. Just sit there. Right, okay. It's the most bizarre thing ever.
It's a bizarre place.
It is. It really is.
It really is.
And I suppose that's not worldwide, because a lot of countries wouldn't tolerate that. You know, there's just certain countries where this is this mental. You know, there's this much nonsense in a family court.
It's true.
And who's the real victims? Because I don't see myself as a victim now. I was a victim as a child, but not now. Now it's my daughter. The kids are victims.
It is. It is. It's. I've got men that we're supporting horrendous cases of parental alienation, similar to yours, and it is ultimately, you know, innocent children are having their lives ruined.
Yeah.
Mental health shattered.
Yeah.
For what?
Lifelong damage. And I can say that because it's me. I am that person.
Yeah.
You know, lifelong damage because of not putting the child first.
You will never get those 13 years, 14 years back that you could have spent with your father, especially at a crucial time of your life.
Yeah. But then not just those years where he was absent, every year since, where it's not a proper father-son relationship. Yeah. Because it's destroyed.
It's difficult.
Destroyed.
Yeah.
Yeah. I describe it as a kind of distant friend relationship. All right, how's it going? You well? Yeah. You know. So sad.
It's a shame.
So sad.
It really is.
And now he's having to witness again another member of his family being held from him in the form of my daughter. So wrong.
Appalling.
But the more people like us, more people that support us, the more people that choose to do things like what we're doing, we're all after the same thing.
Absolutely.
Support each other.
We all have the same aims. And this, false. It starts with false allegations.
Yeah.
Then it's parental alienation is the next advanced stage.
Mm-hmm.
I am hoping with falsely accused network we can try and stem that flow.
Yeah. Well, that's true because they go hand in hand, don't they?
Yeah,
Because the false
starts there.
allegations only happen because that it's part of the process
Part
of
of the
parental
process.
alienation.
Yeah,
So it's.
that's it.
I told this story on a recent podcast, but I'll tell it to yourself so you can hear it just now. That one of my earliest memories was my dad found us in a house when my mum ran away with us, and I remember being waist height with my mum, and I was holding her hand, and my dad was the other side of the door, and before she opened the door, she went, "You don't want to go with him; he hits you." And I'm going, right, so what have I to say? He hits me, right? Okay, I'll say he hits you. The door opens, and I don't want to go with you. You hit me. You shout at me. You hit me. And I remember it clear as day saying that, and I was told to say that. And I think back to, I can remember his face as well. I remember how he looked, and I remember him looking at my mum and kind of drawing his eyes off. And I thought, I don't blame him. Now when I think back, and yeah, it was one of my earliest memories. And she got away with it.
Yeah.
So she did.
Nothing happens when it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. So
And to
wrong.
me, it's a hideous form of child abuse.
It is. Oh, it's child abuse all day long.
Yeah.
So I just hope and wish that some of our sheriffs and judges we have in this country would just be more harsh on them. So I do. But so we're all advocating for a lot. We're advocating for 50-50.
Yeah,
So we are.
that's what
It's
we'd
the
like.
starting point.
Yeah.
50-50.
Definitely.
The Scottish Government got back to us saying that they recommend it.
Yeah.
But what they recommend, what actually happens, two different things. So that's what we want. We want them to make it 50-50, and it would just solve so many problems.
Yeah.
So many problems, and it would put the kids first.
To me, it makes sense to do 50-50. And we know, sort of with research, it would still slightly go in because men tend to work longer hours than women. So we know that's a starting point.
It's a starting point. And then if both parents have been civil,
then it can just
it can
probably
shift.
it would slightly shift if you did it overall, because men do work longer hours than women. It might be 60 if you looked at it on average, but that's where it's got to start from.
And then case by case, it might just be the mum that works or wants to work, but that, as you say, 50-50, starting
It's a
point.
starting point.
And then it can sway either or,
And we need to look at the child maintenance. Some men in England have been hit with fictitious arrears,
Yeah.
calculations where God knows where they've got them from, and they're like, this is going to bankrupt me. How can I don't even earn that much, and how have they calculated this? And the CM, I don't know what the Scottish equivalent is.
No, it's the CMS. Yeah.
Oh, is it the same?
Yeah.
That needs to start again. That needs. I think the CMS needs to be just got rid of, and we start again.
Well, 50-50 would make the
Stop that.
CMS not needed.
Yeah.
You know?
That's what.
But I don't doubt, like, even from personal experience, there's some deadbeat dads out there that don't want to pay their
Oh
way.
yes,
You know, and
yes.
they're scum of the earth.
Of course,
you know.
yeah. I mean, I've got no time. Any man that won't provide for his child, to me, is
Yeah.
not worthy to be a father.
No.
Not worthy to be called a man. But generally speaking, most men do want to be with the child and will provide.
Yeah.
Generally speaking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely fascinating, and been thoroughly enjoyed talking to you, so I have. And I hope to do it again.
Yes. Well, you're invited to us when you can. You can come
I will
down
be there.
to Manchester.
Yeah.
And
When I can talk.
when you can talk, of
I'll
course.
be there.
Yeah, you let me know.
Something that I haven't touched on, and I still won't go into full detail, but when it comes to your falsely accused network, I am that man. So we touched on this off air, but I was found guilty, and then I later got evidence that proves, no doubt, that I'm innocent. But now I've got to use that evidence and basically find the people that found me guilty accountable, and that's not always easy.
No.
It is. So it will. I have complete faith that I will be able to clear my name on the back of the evidence I've got. But it's just the road I've had to go down to get to this. It's not right.
It's been horrendous.
Yeah.
I know you've told me in private, so I can't say any more, but
Yeah.
It's been horrendous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we'll get there. We'll keep going.
That's it.
And you're starting doing podcasts as well?
Yes. So one episode's gone out already. You can go into our YouTube channel. So I interviewed a specialist firm of criminal defence lawyers that specialise in false allegations, domestic abuse, and SA.
Great guests.
For
For your first one.
They were
Superb.
really, really good.
So that's Falsely Accused Network channel
Yes.
on YouTube.
Yes. I've just interviewed a family law solicitor. I've got another family law solicitor I'm interviewing in September. So we film, say, I do one a month. So film in August, it comes out in September and so on.
Yeah.
And we've got all sorts of different people coming on. I will be interviewing victims like you and I
Yeah.
as well. They will be coming on. It's difficult with a lot of men that are going through family court, so they can't speak about it. Whereas mine's all done, dusted years ago. Whatever.
Yeah.
So but we're getting, we've got a psychologist coming on, forensic psychologist, who's actually very clued up on parental alienation and false allegation. Fascinating woman. Fascinating.
Fantastic. I'll be
Yeah.
tuning in, absolutely, because it sounds like some amazing guests. I mean, getting lawyers, psychologists, it's superb getting them to speak, because when they do this for a living, the last thing that they want to do, I would think, is jump on a podcast and talk about it. So that's
the lawyers we work with, and the Mackenzie friends as well that we work with.
That's your channel there.
There we are. Oh yes. Are very passionate about justice, and that's important to me, that the people that we do send people to, whichever way, are going to be on their team, and that's brilliant.
That is brilliant. That is. And whether it be parental alienation, whether it be paternity fraud, whether it be false allegations, men's mental health in general, we're all after the same thing.
Absolutely.
We're all after the same thing.
Absolutely.
And we understand that the power in talking, I think I say this all the time, but just talk.
Yep.
The comfort I find in talking to people that have been through what I've been through. And I can only guess that you're the same. If you meet someone that has been through paternity fraud, it must help to talk.
It does. Especially with paternity fraud, it's such a very unique thing to happen. A lot of people would, if it's not happens, we won't understand. Very difficult for them to understand. But when they come through to me or the rest of our support group, they feel at home. And a lot say, "I'm at home here." So it's there.
I mean, that's great to hear that there's a place where folk like that can turn.
Well,
I think it is. It's so small, isn't it? It's so niche.
Yes.
But so family courts, obviously, there's thousands every day. But the actual paternity fraud is,
We're the only one that does it.
Yeah.
I couldn't find any. I could find American ones at the time. I actually have made friends with the Carnell Smith, who runs the American Advocate.
One. Right.
He's fantastic, and he spent 3 hours. I met when I set up Paternity Fraud UK. I managed to get him to do a call with me. He said, "I can speak to you about half an hour. I'm very busy," but he was lovely, and then it carried on for 4 hours. That chat. He had me by the end of that call. I was crying, laughing. He had me laughing, and he was really good. He helped me how to structure things and talk about things.
And did he go through it as well in his personal life? Did he?
Oh yeah. It was a horrible case.
Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. Horrible. And it must. I mean, we could go on and on here, but it must. It's just as serious as parental alienation, etc. That kills people. That you could quite easily have taken your own life.
I did have those type of thoughts at the time, and I never acted. There was never. I never. It was just thoughts. It never moved to action, and thank God it didn't.
Yeah. Because
then I wouldn't have set up Paternity Fraud UK. I wouldn't have set up Falsely Accused Network. I know we've saved lives, and we will save more lives. But my aim as well is the support's here now. It exists, but we've got to start seeing change, and that means getting more vocal. That means emerging anybody out there listening, watching, get to the Falsely Accused Day, whether it's one in Edinburgh or London. Yeah. Or if there's one in your country, because this is goes worldwide. Yeah. If there is one in your country, go to it. You've been there. We can't be silent anymore. We've got to speak up.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Smashed it. Well, Mike, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you.
I really appreciate it. Just the way that you reached out to us and we spoke and we just went, look, we've got a common goal here. Yeah. Let's support each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
No, thank you. Thank you for asking me on.
Michael, our producer, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Well, guys, thank you so much for listening in. We hope you enjoyed that story from Mike and his journey, and it was absolutely fascinating, heartbreaking at times, but to hear how he's turned his negative into a positive and now how he's helping people is fascinating. If you are affected by paternity fraud in any way, please go to falselyaccusednetwork.co.uk. If you're affected by parental alienation as well, please go to that website. Contact us at Voice for Dads. Contact Mike at Falsely Accused Network. And please like and subscribe on our YouTube channel. You can go to Voice for Dads at YouTube and also go to Falsely Accused Network. Speak to you all soon.